Hey, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Tyshawn, aka coldlabz on social media. In the last video, we talked about setting up a server, not just one, but we set up two of them. One was Visual Studio Code, and the second one was Brackets. But in this video, we're going to set up Gimp 2, and then we're going to go through some of the tips and tricks that are going to help you make a sprite sheet real quick. So let's go ahead and head to Google. Now that the browser has loaded, let's type in Gimp 2. Let's scroll down a little bit, and you see right here it says downloads Gimp 2. Click that. When the page loads, scroll down to your device and download Gimp 2. For me, I'm using Windows, so I'm going to click on the orange button right here. You might want to pause the video for a second. Alright, now that we downloaded Gimp 2, let's go ahead to our search bar and let's find it. Hit enter. It's going to take a little bit to load, so give it some time. Now that Gimp 2 has loaded, let's go ahead and make a brand new file. So click File, hit the New button, and then let's choose a size. Let's do 500 by 500 just to test this out. Hit enter. Alright, so now you see there's a white blank document. If you go to the left hand side and you hover over the move tool, the move tool is used to actually move the document around. So let's go back to the center of the picture and drag it around. Test this out. Just try to put it back in the center, or you can just press Ctrl Z. If you go back up and look at some of these tools, you notice there's an arrow in the bottom right hand corner. What happens is if you hold on to the click button, you have different things you could do. If you go down to where it says alignment, which we're going to be using to make our sprite sheet, we can actually offset the sprite sheet and set the character to match up perfectly in order to make the sprite sheet animate properly. So let's go to the next box. Right here where it says rectangle, you can make actual rectangles if you go from the corner to corner. You also can make the corner round. So if you click on the spot where it says rounded corner, go down a little bit, it says radius. The more you increase the radius, the more that box becomes a circle. You drag it all the way over, you got a complete circle now. If you go back to where the rectangle was and hold on to it, it says ellipse set. The ellipse set basically makes the circle outright, so you don't have to actually change the border inside of the rectangle. So what is this lasso tool? The lasso tool allows you to draw where you want to cut. Say if you want to cut a certain image out, let's squiggle around a little bit, and you make the points meet. You can actually delete that. Not only can it delete, it will delete everything that you just covered. So let's drag this to the center with the move tool. So let's hit the delete button. Watch what happens. The next thing is a select tool. That thing is going to be very crucial. So the select tool allows you to outline certain things. And if you go down a little bit, it says threshold. That threshold is how much of it is going to be taken up. How much of it can it take in total. So let's go ahead, let's make a brand new document. So let's go down to the far right hand side. You see this? Click on that. And now it says make a new layer. Just hit OK, alright? Now we got a new layer. What this layering does is what's on top of what. So if you hit the little eyeball button on the background, you see that the layer disappears. And that's the background layer. But if we go back up to where it says layer, you can actually draw on that. So what we're going to do is go back up to where it says ellipse. Let's go ahead and select that rectangle and make a random box. And now we want to go ahead and fill it in with the fill tool, the bucket. So you come over to the bucket fill tool, you click on it, you choose a color. We want to go with red. We got red. Now click in the center of that, select the tool. You see it's red. And if you go back up to the right hand side, you notice it has only a red circle right there. And if you go down a little bit to where it says background, click down on that, the white background disappears and all you have left is a circle. So what if you want to change the size of that circle you just created, or an object period? If you go over to where it says scale tool, that's going to handle that for you. You got flip, rotate, scale. So how can we tell if any of this stuff is happening? How about we go back to the lasso tool so we can select and create a cut. So now we cut a piece of this out, connect the edges, hit the delete button. You notice the piece of that red is gone. So let's go up to where it says select and then click none. Now nothing is selected. So what we want to do now is click on the flip tool. So how do we use a flip tool? Pretty simple. You click on what you want to be flipped and it turns the opposite direction. The same thing with the scale tool and all the rest of them. Let's do rotate. Whatever we want to rotate this, we could either drag the actual slider bar, or we could type in the actual center X and center Y and it would change it. Let's hit the X on that. The next tool you got on there is the 3D transformation. So what if you want to transform how it looks? You can type in the actual X and Y axis, or you can actually just drag on the object itself and it will rotate. Let's hit the X on that. The next tool you got is a unified transform tool. This one is pretty unique, you know. You can actually change the actual size of the object manually. So let's move back down. Let's go over to the bucket tool. This bucket tool allows you to fill it in completely with whatever you want. You got opacity. If you go down a little bit, you notice how much you want to paint it in there. Let's flip this by clicking on this exchange foreground, which is next to these two colors right here, the red and the white. Let's fill it with white and lower the opacity to like 40 or 30 or something. You notice it has a faint color to it. Let's click on this green button to make this transformation a brand new layer itself. And then let's change the opacity back to 100. Let's go back to transform. Click on the fuzzy select tool. Click on the layer. Click this paint tool. Fill in the white. And now you still see the pink, but we can actually make this visible. You can go down to where it says layer, drag it on top of transformation, and there it goes. So after that, let's go to the move tool and slightly slide this. Now you got like a little shadow behind it. Okay, that's cool. Let's move to the next thing. Let's go to the select on top and click none again. We want to leave that alone. This right here is your eraser. You can change the actual size of the eraser, how big you want it to be, and erase a portion of whatever you want to go. So as you see, I'm erasing some of this white. It's no longer a big white symbol. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the smudge tool. The smudge tool allows you to make the picture a little blurry and smudged out. We're gonna drag this over to white and see how we mess this around. Right now, the same white stuff that was on the picture looks kind of hazy like a cloud. This right here is your texting tool. You can change the actual text, the font, and everything on the left hand side. So click over here where it says sans serif and you got list. If you scroll down a little, you got plenty of different things you can put inside of there. Let's write hello or something. To change the color of that, you highlight it and then you click on the color in this box in the right hand side and then you pick it, then hit OK. Alright, another tool you might need is the zoom tool. This allows you to go closer and closer on the object, but typically what I do, I hold into control and I scroll back with the mouse wheel. So let's wrap this up. Long story short, we learned how to install Gimp and how to manipulate some of the things inside of it. And in this next video, we're going to learn how to create a sprite sheet for the game. Hope you guys are ready. Take care.